What is up, everybody? It's Joe from JLW Games, coming to you with another cool video. We're back in the Challenge Park in Winland, and we're going to be doing start on a really exciting attraction and expansion to the steampunk section, which we just opened up in the last episode. Now, before we get started, I will say I accidentally forgot to save my progress from last time, so I did have to go back through off-screen and redo everything that we worked on in the last episode, but it's okay because I went in and actually added on a pond. So if you spot any differences from the last episode, that's probably why, but I went in and actually did a little extra than what we did last time. So I did actually put some more stuff than I did in the last episode to kind of make up for that. So we're going to start on this next attraction. As you can see, I did get my money back too, so we're at $33,000. Which hopefully will be good enough to get us started on this attraction. So this new attraction will, of course, be an expansion of the steampunk section because I'm so excited about this area that I can't wait to expand it. So we're going to expand upon this direction, and kind of the idea that I want to do is maybe like this area, like the entrance of this ride is going to be somewhere right here, and we're going to continue the loop around. And then eventually I kind of maybe, as you can see, we have a little bit of spot opening right here that we could use. I kind of want to finish the loop around, so eventually when we keep expanding, we'll get all the way around and can have a full loop for this section. So, but for this expansion, we're going to go to about this corner probably. We're going to have the ride entrance for this and then close up with maybe like a ride gift shop or something along those lines with more facilities, and then we'll keep this open for the next expansion. So you might be asking, what do we want to do for this next attraction? Now, I have mentioned before, I do want to do a roller coaster for this section, a very heavily themed roller coaster, and that's what we're going to be doing here today, is we're going to be adding a very heavily themed roller coaster, probably one of the biggest themes I've ever done on a coaster before. So, again, this is probably going to be my last park before Planet Coaster 2, so I want to go all out on this section and this park in general. So, so to get ready for Planet Coaster 2 and go out with a bang with Planet Coaster 1, I do want this to be very, very special and incredible. So what we're going to be doing is, I actually saw a recreation of Big Bear Mountain and Planet Coaster, and they actually used like the SNS track, probably from the motorbike trains, or motorbike type from the Vekoma, these guys. And then they actually used the GCI trains, which actually kind of resemble those family coaster cars a little bit. So I think that's what we're going to do. Even though the wheel assembly is not going to match up, it still looks really good. So we're going to go with that. And we're actually going to use these for this project. And yes, we're going to be making a Vekoma family coaster that is heavily themed and actually will include onboard audio with some voice acting and music as well. So that's actually what I want to do here today, as we're going to try and work on this layout and go from there. And once it's complete, we're going to try and get some custom audio in and actually put in some custom audio and stuff. So it's going to be really, really heavily themed. So basically we're going to have the entrance somewhere over here, and actually I think I might orientate this coaster to be like going this direction, and I want to make sure it's kind of lined up with these buildings here. That way, I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect or anything, but we're going to get it as close as we can for this because it's going to be part of this main street. And I think we might actually, we're going to put the we're still going to have the entrance over here, and then the exit's going to go kind of like what my idea is. We're going to have the exit kind of go through a queue or a gift shop on their way out, and then we'll leave plenty of spot for queuing area kind of right here, maybe around this corner, and then we're going to kind of launch out, and the layout's going to be out, and we have plenty of space here for the layout. So that's going to be kind of the idea here for this attraction. I'm going to go ahead and raise this up a little bit, and we'll start a time lapse here shortly, but that I just wanted to give you guys an idea. There is going to be an entire storyline for this ride that I will reveal maybe later on. Not sure if I'll reveal it in this episode, but I am coming up with, I'm kind of still working out the storyline a little bit, so today's going to be mainly just working on a little bit of the layout. Hopefully we have enough money to actually build this attraction because it is going to be very expensive with how much theming and planning that I'm going to be putting into this attraction. So I do want to mess with a little bit of the terrain as well to kind of give it a nicer touch as well. So basically, before we get into the time lapse, I'm going to show you what we're going to do here. We're going to place this down, and we're actually going to use the gnarler trains, which is the GCI trains. They fit the track pretty well, but again, the wheels are not going to be correct, but that is one thing I'm willing to sacrifice to get the kind of look of the trains that I want. Again, if this was Planet Coaster 2, I would actually edit the trains to give a nice look, the look that I want, but unfortunately we don't have that option in Planet Coaster 1, so we're gonna have to wait for that for Planet Coaster 2. Here they are. But if you notice, like, these actually have like the family coaster, or the Vekoma family coaster kind of style. They're kind of very similar to GCI. Obviously the restraints are different, but they actually kind of have the same feel. So we're gonna go with that. Again, this is going to be a ride that's kind of inspired by Big Bear Mountain at Dollywood, with a steampunk theme. And again, I'm going to put onboard audio onto the ride. It's going to be epic. So let me know in the comments section what you guys think of this idea. I think it's going to be pretty amazing. So, but as you can see, the trains actually fit on it pretty well, but you can see obviously the wheels aren't going to be exactly the way they're supposed to be, but you know, that's going to be something that is fine. It actually lines up with the station pretty well, which will, of course, we're going to make some adjustments on. But now we're going to go ahead and get our color scheme going, and I think we're going to go for definitely steampunk feel. So we're going to get these colors that we want into it. It's like some like gold, bronze, silver kind of colors for the train. And then as for the track, I'm thinking about going with like a, oops, accidentally did the wrong thing there. As for the track, I kind of want to go with like a copper, maybe like a dark brown kind of copper color that I think would look very, very nice. And then these are okay, that's the spine. Keep all that the same. And then for the supports, I think we're going to go kind of like for gold, kind of goldish brown color. Let's actually take a look at that before we get started here. Yeah, kind of like that. Maybe a little bit darker than that. Let's actually go back here and maybe make that just a tad darker. I don't want it to pop too much. I want it to still have a certain color. Yeah, kind of like that. And that would be pretty cool. We can always adjust the colors later. If I adjust any of the colors, it would probably be on the trains. But all right, so with that out of the way, let's get started on this layout and this time lapse. Alrighty, so we just built the layout, which is gonna look so cool once I get all the theming in and everything like that. So we got 2 trains on it now. I believe Big Bear Mountain has 10 rows, so I went ahead and added one. So we're gonna go ahead and test that out as well. And the layout turned out pretty smooth as well. I'm turning down the friction multiplier just a little bit, mostly because it seems a little bit slower than I want it to. So to adjust that, we're just going to turn down the multiplier, and I'm going and trying, like, it's not too like super slow, but I feel like for a family coaster, it just needed to be a little bit faster. Also, adding that extra car will change a few things as well. So we're gonna go ahead and get that in there. We do have to add like our own launch fins as well, because I did use the LSM over the hydraulic launch, and that's not on this coaster type. That's I'm able to use it because of the mod, which has invisible track, so I had to cover it up with normal track as well. So I'll keep that in there. And as you can see, off-ride it looks pretty good. Like, it's very, very smooth, and I think it turned out brilliantly. And we're gonna have a few tunnels, as you can see, that are gonna go underground, which is gonna be cool. I can't wait to theme this up. You guys like are gonna be like amazed of how I think incredible it is. It's 4,020 feet long too, which is a really good track length to have, I think, overall, and it's just under a 2-minute ride as well, which is also pretty good. So I wanted to go with a nice, awesome tunnel to finish the ride, kind of like how Big Bear Mountain has its little, not really a tunnel, but it's kind of like just a little, it goes underneath the ground for a moment and everything. So, but yeah, it looks pretty good. Hit the brake run right there. And we're going to be able to operate with 2 trains, I think will be realistic on this ride. But yeah, I really like how the GCI trains look on this. It does kind of have that feel of those Vekoma family coaster. It kind of gives me those vibes. So especially if you're not like looking at it too in detail. Again, if we had like the Planet Coaster 2 options to be able to edit the coaster trains, it would be even better, because then I could theme up the front of the car or something, which would be pretty epic. So yeah, I think it turned out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with the results. I think we're going to keep it at right where it's at with the 0.8 friction multiplier. And if we take a look at the stats, it is a duration of 110.8 seconds, a track length of 4,020 feet, max speed of 54 miles per hour, which is pretty good for a family thrill coaster, and then average speed of 25 miles an hour. That's actually pretty good. Biggest drop is only 37 feet, so we do stay pretty low to the ground. I do want to adjust some of the terrain in here. We might do that here in a bit. And then you can see all the G-force stats here. And then airtime count, apparently there's only one airtime moment. But anyways, I like how the shaping of the track turned out. I used my own smoothing method, which is select 3 pieces at a time and go back and forth around 4 times or so. And that seemed to work pretty well. So I think smoothness-wise, it turned out pretty good. And now we got to basically get everything else going in here, because this first section, this little bend here, I'm gonna have indoors, so it is gonna launch out of a building with some really cool theming. And I'm thinking about adding like an animated door that opens and closes for when the launch comes out, so you can't see the outside until the door opens and it launches out the door, and then you're gonna go through the layout. And yeah, so it's gonna be pretty cool. I'm thinking about potentially enclosing the second launch as well with some cool effects. Like I said, there's gonna be so much theming into this ride where we're at right now, so we have to go in and get all that edited, because there's gonna be so much to do. So let's go ahead and head into the terrain editor. As you can see, we barely made enough money. Had barely enough money to get the ride kind of completed. At least we have the layout done. So our budget's not looking too happy right now, so we might actually have to do some park management a little bit before we do too much, to make sure we're making a profit. You can see rides and tickets are actually in the negative to start this month, and we're almost halfway through this month, which is not good. Maybe there's a ride closed or something like that. Let's make sure all our rides are open, because sometimes that can cause it. See, the Comet is broken down. Let's make sure we have a mechanic on the way here. It's a good thing we don't have to pay refunds, but it could mean that people don't want to enter the park because of the price. Sometimes when a ride is closed, they'll decide not to go to that. So let's see if we have any mechanics on the way here. Oh, apparently I don't have any mechanics besides the one I just put in Steam City. That is interesting. I never hired a mechanic for this area. I think it's because the breakdown rate is so low for these rides, so I decided to wait until I needed one, which is pretty funny. So let's take a look at the work roster here, and that's probably why we've been losing so much money, because the ride's closed, and that actually does affect if they want to go in. But anyways, let's go ahead and give you that. If we look at our work rosters, I'd imagine this would be on the west roster, so let's take a look. Maybe it's not. Let's go ahead and add the coaster to this west roster, and then we'll go ahead and attach our mechanic to the west roster. I don't know if I can select him from here. We're just going to change his roster to the west roster, so he can make sure this coaster's up at all times. So that will help us out there. Let's check out how Gear Force is doing in the new section. Alright, so we got people on it, so that's obviously good. If we go in here, you can see we got a decent line, but it's not full, so pretty good stuff going on in there. And when that ride gets back up, hopefully we should be back in the positive. We're under 2,000 guests, so a lot of guests did leave the park, so that's probably why our profits are down at the moment. But we do need to start making money again, because we are pretty low in funds right now. This ride is going to be a huge game changer when it comes to everything, but we can't really do much unless we get more money, so... You can see the profits are low. Shops and facilities still doing good. We just got to get our rides back up. Okay, so that should be back open, which is good. You can see we had a lot of guests leave. I might try and do... Alright, so we have a lot of people coming back in now that that ride's back open. So that did make a big difference, so... Just gotta wait for all these people to get to the entrance. Because, obviously... we won't make money until they buy tickets. We might run into the negative for a moment. Wow, yeah. But hopefully we can get back in the positives. We're kind of going back and forth right now, which is not good, of course. These people are running, but these people need to get here faster. We're running out of people. See how the restaurant's been doing. Alright, it's been making good profits. That's good. Just check in on all our shops here. Might see if I can open some of these shops back up, because there's been some shops I have had closed. Fox Coffee in the positive. I think that one was having issues. Somehow these guys got lost. I don't know how. They got stuck there somehow. Sometimes that happens. Spots where they randomly get stuck, which is definitely not good. Alright. All these people are going to give us lots of money once they get here, so I'll wait till that happens. I turned the breakdown rate down. I think that was the first ride breakdown we've had since we actually opened the park, so very, very good. All these guests in the park so we can continue our construction, because I can't do anything with no money. But man, did we ever nail it on the price. Like, this was probably around a little over 30,000 to build, so... Alright, now they're starting to come in. There we go. Look how fast our profit jumped up after they got to that entrance. Sweet. There we go. And we're already back in the green. Lots of people to come. is perfect for us. Right. Steam City was a really big success, so after that opened, we got a lot of guests coming in. But now this attraction is going to really attract a lot of people, I think, especially once we get the scenery rating up and everything. See, the excitement's pretty high for a family coaster, like 4.71. I'll take it. That is pretty solid. But now we have some money coming in, so that's good. Yeah, you can see our construction cost was $30,905, so it was a pretty expensive ride for what we did do, but it will definitely be worth it in the end as we start to bring in more money here. For us, we're going to go ahead and pause for a moment. I am going to do a little bit of terrain editing just to kind of get us started, because I don't want it to be flat. I want it to be a little less boring, so we're going to raise some of these a bit. And we'll probably open up our tunnels too for the couple tunnels that we do have in here. So let's turn our intensity up a bit. There's going to be a lot of theming we're going to pay attention to. Don't know if I have to do... I might not have to do much of any custom supports here unless I want to add it into the theming. Supports are actually not too bad, if you ask me. Like, since we're not going too high off the ground, usually the auto-generate supports do fairly well, unless the only time they kind of suck is when you're not raised off the ground. So we're just going to mess with the terrain. It's not going to be anything crazy, but we're going to add just a few hills here. I'll probably add some trees and stuff around the area just to kind of give it that nice look. And then we're going to have to build our tunnel there as well. I'm going to go over here and place a few as well. And we're going to have a building there, and then I also need to make a transfer track of some sorts, probably right over here somewhere. At some point, I'll probably expand the parking lot to just to get that realistic feel that we're expanding. So get that up there, and there we have it. Nice. Let's go ahead and hit it with the smooth tool a little bit. Smooth out some of this terrain, and then we'll go and make our tunnels real quick. Let's go ahead and start with this one. Now, it doesn't go underground very far, so what we're going to do is we're actually going to pull this down, and then we're going to raise the terrain around it quite a bit. And then we're going to box it in with like scenery pieces and such, so gives that illusion that it's more of a tunnel than what it is, because of all the hills and stuff that are going to be here. It's going to be very like a very short tunnel, but allows us to build up that speed a bit as we fly down it. So we're not going to do too much today. Again, we're going to probably do that, and then also build some tunnel, or build the structure for the tunnels, and then that's probably it. And then we'll get into a lot of the scenery and theming next time. Next tunnel right here. And this turn. Go ahead and raise the terrain around it just a bit. Yeah, I'm gonna go all out on this ride, and I don't know how many episodes it's going to take to get this ride done, but again, I'm also going to be doing custom audio for it as well. We're going to do some a little bit of voice acting, I think, as well. Could be a little cheesy, but that's all right for the theming, right? We're going to hit autosave, so wait a moment. Let me know in the comments section down below if you have any cool steampunk suggestions for the name, maybe, of the ride. Again, of course, I'll talk more about the storyline as we go along into the episodes following this, so as I'm building it, I'll kind of explain all of that, so... Okay. But anyways, I think we're going to go ahead and get into the time lapse of building those tunnels, and then we'll have a little outro after that, and then I'll do it for this episode. So enjoy this last little time lapse, and we will be right back with that. Alright, I think that's going to do it for this episode for now. I was hoping to do both tunnels in that time lapse, but time was kind of against my side, and so I'm going to have to wait on that for the next episode. But we have a lot to do in this tunnel. Obviously, I'm going to decorate it up a little bit. We still have more to do, but I kind of started to put down a little bit of foliage and such and everything like that. I think I'm going to use some cool particle effects on the entrance and exit of this tunnel, so like some either fog or steam or something like that. We'll have to check the clearance of this opening. Hopefully we don't have to adjust it, but I'll probably check on that before I go too far. And then I just wanted to do some little bit of decorating of these tunnels so they're not just bland tunnels. So we're gonna make them look really cool. Theme them up too. We'll definitely put some like pipes and such like that just to keep it going and everything. So I can't wait to do a little bit more, but I wanted to get these tunnels out of the way before I started on like the main building and everything. And yeah, so I won't forget to save this time, hopefully. So that's something I don't want to have to relive again, especially with building this coaster layout, because I don't want to have to try and rebuild it, because I like how it turned out and I would hate to have to redo it again. So anyways, let me know in the comment section what you think of this ride so far, and if you have any ideas of for like the name and stuff. We'll go into that soon later on. So I can't wait to get this going. Next episode will probably, after the end of next episode, we'll probably start looking a lot cooler and a lot better, and I can't wait because this will be our second coaster, and we need more family-oriented rides anyways, so this is a nice addition for the family coaster. And then I would like to maybe do like an actual like kids section, because we have a lot of thrill rides and we need to do a few more family and small rides for kids. So but that will probably be its own little section somewhere else in the park. So but I think a family coaster was greatly needed, but we don't have any coasters that go upside down either, so that will probably be our next coaster. Will be a fairly nice thrill coaster after this one, whatever we decide. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe for more amazing content like this, and I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks so much, and goodbye.